It's time to gear up and head out to the Kubinka Tank Museum. Now remember, in a previous episode, we took you through the Nazi pavilion. Now we're gonna hit some of the Russian tanks you're gonna see nowhere else. Stay tuned.
Okay, behind me is the T-34-76. Now when the Germans invaded Russia in June of 1941, they got a real shock when they ran into this and the KV-1 heavy tank. This is considered to be a medium tank, but it combined excellent mobility, protection, and firepower. The thing that the T-34 brought to the table was angled armor, which gave it the protection of much thicker armor on a vertical axis. Now this is a T-34-76, like I said, relatively rare because later in the war, the majority of them were converted to the T-34-85 configuration, which is over to my left. The T-34 overall is widely considered to be the best tank of World War II. Starting with the T-54, what you see in Russian main battle tanks is a natural evolution. T-54, T-55, T-62, T-64, T-72, and even the T-80 that they have here at Kubinka follow a real logical progression in terms of the way they develop the tank. They stick to a few main themes: a very large main gun, number one, and number two, a very squat profile, with the T-72 and T-64 being extremely low to the ground, to the point that they can only select crew members of a certain height and below in order to fit inside the tank. That makes it very difficult to hit the tank, and also when it's concealed, it's very difficult to see it. Here at the T-64, things changed a little bit. Now it's still a natural evolution from the T-54, but they changed a little bit on the profile. Also, the road wheels and suspension and the engine were changed. And talking off camera to some of the Russians here, they confirmed what I had heard before, that this tank in a lot of ways was a failure. It was a little bit too advanced for the manufacturing technology within the Soviet Union at that time. However, this tank then eventually led on to the T-72. Behind me is the T-72M. This kind of is the final template for where the Russians went after this, all the way to the T-80 and then even the T-90. More or less a refinement of this basic design. They couldn't get here unless they did the T-54 all the way through the T-64 and finally ended up here at the T-72. This tank set the stage for the main battle tanks that followed.